Hi everybody, it's Mr. Lou. This is page 103. Compare the fractions, 3/4 and 7/8. So when we're comparing fractions, we need to change our fractions so that we get like fractions. And again, like fractions means fractions that have the same denominator, which is the bottom number. Here we have 3/4 and 7/8. Well, as you can see over here, my 4 and my 8 are not the same numbers. They're not like fractions. I want to change my 3/4 to get the same bottom number or the same denominator as 7/8. So when we find our equivalent fractions, 3/4 is also the same thing, is also equal to 6/8. So now what I'm doing is I'm comparing 6/8. So I'm going to compare 6/8 to 7/8, and that's an easy comparison because I know that 7/8 or 7/8 is bigger than 6/8. So then we know that 7/8 is the greater fraction. So that means 7/8 is greater than 3/4. Let's look at number 7. So number 7, I have 7/9 and 2/3. Well, I don't have the same bottom number. I don't have like fractions, so I want to change 2/3, and I want to find my equivalent fractions to 2/3. So I'm going to find my equivalent fractions. Remember, we're counting multiples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 12. And again, I want to compare 7/9, and I want the same bottom number, so that means I am choosing 6/9 because they both have 9 as a denominator. So 2/3 is equal to 6/9. And when I compare those two, I know that 7/9 is bigger. So that means 7/9 is bigger, and 2/3, which is the same thing as 6/9, is smaller. So 2/3 is less than 7/9. Let's look at number 8. I have 4/5 and 1/2. In this situation, we have to find equivalent fractions for both 4/5 and 1/2. So over here I have 4/5, and I have 1/2, 1/2. And I want to find where they have the same denominator. Okay, so I'm going to write my equivalent fractions. Equal, and let's write some equivalent fractions. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, over here for 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Alright, and then when I'm looking at this, I can see that 8/10 and 5/10 are like fractions because they have both 10 at the bottom. So I'm going to change 4/5 to 8/10, and I'm going to change 1/2 to 5/10. And now that I'm comparing my like fractions, I know that this one, 8/10, is the bigger one. So that means this one, 4/5, is greater than 1/2. Alright, number 9. So for number 9, I have 5, 6. I'm going to do the same exact thing as before. 5, 6. And I have 1/4. I'm going to write 1/4 on the bottom. Now, instead of me writing it all out, I want to find a multiple that is the same when I count my 6 multiples and also my 4 multiples. So I'm going to write down my 6 multiples right now. 6, 12, 18, 24. And I'm also going to write my 4 multiples next to it. 4, 8, 12, 16. And I can see right now that 12 is the same in 6 and the same as 4. So the multiple of 12 is both in 6 and 4. So that means I can have 12 as my denominator. Now I have to figure out what my top number is. So 6 times 2 gives me 12. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, I want to multiply the top by 2 as well. And 5 times 2 is 10. So this is the other way I can find equivalent fractions. So that means 5 over 6 I want to convert to 10 over 12. And 1/4, let's figure out what I want to convert 1/4 to. So 4 times 3 gives me 12. So I'm going to multiply the top times 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. So 1/4 I'm going to convert to 3 over 12. And here I can see that 10 over 12 is bigger than 3 over 12. So that means 5, 6 is on the bigger side, and Pac-Man eats the bigger side. And 1/4 is on the smaller side. So 1/4 is less than 5 over 6. And that's page 103.